Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This is my 5-star predictions video. So, like I mentioned in the intro to this is my 5-star predictions video. I'm basically going to talk you through 10 books that I think could be 5 stars and my reasoning behind it. Some of the books I don't really know much about, so it should be a pretty quick run through of books I think I'm going to enjoy. So let's just start straight away, shall we? The first set of books are by authors I have read from before and enjoyed, and then the next set of books are books that I just really like the idea and the premise of, and hopefully the writing doesn't disappoint. So, book number 1, Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the companion series to the Raven Cycle, which I gave, I think, 3 out of those 4 books 5 stars. It might have been on 4, to be honest with you. And I also gave the Scorpio Races 5 stars, but I did also DNF the Shiver trilogy. Like, I didn't like that at all. But I'm hoping that because this follows Ronan, who is my second favourite Raven boy. Adam is my fave. I love him. And this book, it follows Ronan and 2 other characters after the events of the Raven Cycle. I believe that there's also a big focus on the rest of the Lynch brothers, and I'm really excited about it. But I don't want to talk too much about the plot, because if you haven't read the Raven Boys, then you just won't know what's going on. So check out the Raven Boys if you feel like you might enjoy this one. Okay, so sorry if the angle has changed for this next book, but I did just launch my book at the floor. I dropped it and it hit the tripod and everything fell, so we're just going to deal with it. The next book is again by an author I've read from before and given 5 stars, and that is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. I read The Mortal Instruments as they were coming out when I was younger, and I really enjoyed them, and then I read The Infernal Devices and absolutely fell in love with all of the characters. I love the Infernal Devices. And then I just I wasn't as interested in this series because it was again going back to modern, and I just wasn't sure that I wanted more Cassandra Clare. And then the Chain of Gold book came out, the Last Hour series, and I fell in love with Shadowhunters again. So I'm going to give this series a chance and see if I enjoy it, and I've given the last 2 or 3 Cassandra Clare books I've read 5 stars, so there's a good chance that this could be a 5-star series. And I'm nervous because people tell me that this one is very emotional, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but I guess we'll see. Next book is slightly different than the other 2. I didn't even explain what Lady Midnight was about, what did I? It's the next series of the Shadowhunter world, set in I believe New York or Los Angeles. It's Los Angeles, isn't it? Yeah, California. And if you don't know what the Shadowhunters are about, then where have you been? There's a movie, a show, so many books. But yeah, the next one is The X-Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon last year. It was one of my favourite books of the year. It was just a really sweet contemporary, and this is an adult romance about 2 people who work at a radio station and I believe pretend to be exes for publicity, and they actually end up falling for each other, but they start off as rivals, and I don't know, I'm very excited about it, and it's a gorgeous cover, floppy paperback. I think that this could definitely be a 5 stars, and I'm very excited to dive in. The next book, once again, is one of authors that I've read from before. It is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I had this pre-ordered. I really want to listen to it on audio. I've listened to all of their books on audio so far, and I really enjoy them. And the Starbound trilogy is one of my favourites. The Unearthed Duology is a lot of fun. Amy Kaufman's other work, Illuminate and Aurora Rising, I've enjoyed both of those. And Megan Spooner's solo books I've really enjoyed. So I really think I'm going to like this. The Starbound trilogy is one of my favourite sci-fi series. It's just a great amount of romance too to plot, and I'm a big fan of sci-fi romances apparently, and this one sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Laini Taylor's blurbed it, who I adore. And yeah, the blurb is: a living goddess searches the skies desperate for hope. A crown prince falls to earth looking for answers, both destined to save their world or destroy them completely. And there's a cat. I'm quite excited about it. It looks really good. The next one is sort of a curveball. I'm not sure if this is going to be 5 stars, but it could be. It's House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas in the Crescent City series. This is Sarah J Maas's technically first adult book, but the A Court of Thorns and Roses series was kind of adult, and the later Throne of Glass books are also perhaps a little too steamy to be in the young adult section. And this is I believe an urban fantasy, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I bought it because it was Sarah J Maas and I loved A Court of Mist and Fury, but I don't know if I'm still excited about her book. Looking back at them, I'm not sure. I feel like I critique them a lot in my head and sort of talk myself out of enjoying them, but when I'm actually reading them I have a really good time. So this could be a 5-star read as I'm reading it, and then 2 months later I could be like, oh, was that more of a 3? But I guess we'll see when I finally get around to it. It's just very chunky, and I don't have much time for reading these days, so I will get to it eventually, and it could very well be a 5-star book. And the next 5 books are books from authors that I have not read from before, but I think I could very well really like. The first one being the Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which, I mean, it's been blurred by Alex E. Harrow, who wrote one of my new favourite books. It's a fantasy about a soldier and a turncoat, and there's like royalty involved, and I believe it's queer. And it just, I don't know, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm really excited, and I think I might really like it, so I'm excited to give this one a go. The next one is, again, just because people talk about it a lot, and it's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And I believe this is, I think it's magical realism. It's set in 1945, and I believe it's about like a magical book or something along those lines. But I mean, the Daily Telegraph says this book will change your life, an instant classic, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. And yeah, I think I might really like it. It's just one of those books that I have a feeling about, so hopefully I'm right. The next book, again, and also I haven't read, but has been highly recommended by Jade from JD Ray Reads, Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. I watched her live show where she interviewed the author Sebastian de Castell, and he seemed really cool, very passionate. Like, I was a fan of the way he presented himself in that interview, and it made me really excited to read this. And it's about a guy who has to use magic in these trials, but his magic has vanished, and it sounds really good, and it's a series I could be really into. And yeah, that was a very poor explanation of what this is about. Like I said, I liked the author. I trust Jade's opinion on fantasy, and I'm excited for this, and also for the Greatcoat series, but I don't own that one yet, so Spellslinger is on the list. The next one, I mean, everyone has talked about the next one. It is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. The trilogy won the Hugo Award for 3 consecutive years. Like, that is so impressive. I've heard nothing but good things. I think it's supposed to be written in a really interesting way. And I'm not quite sure how to describe it, because people seem confused when they describe it, even when they've read it. So I'm just going to read you out what it says on the back. This is the way the world ends for the last time. It starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death. With a murdered son and a missing daughter, it starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. Very excited, it sounds great. And finally, another author I have not read yet, but I own a fair few books from, is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have The Pride of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I went to the book launch for that in London, and the way that she spoke was great. I've heard nothing but good things about The Bone Season. Ashley from Her Frolic Through Fiction and Lauren from Fiction Tea on Instagram both love this series, and I've heard nothing but good things, and I really think I'm gonna like it. It's about a girl called Paige Mahoney, who is a psychic, so she has powers in a world where that's illegal, and you can be sort of imprisoned for having these powers. And I believe she's discovered, and it's sort of the story of her being arrested and everything that results from that, and I'm excited to see where the series goes. It's going to be a 7-book series, I believe, and there are 4 out at the moment, and yeah, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to really enjoy this. I just need to actually get around to reading it. So yeah, those are the 10 books that I think will be 5 stars. I mean, there are more, but there are more that I don't own. So I might do another video like this where it's 10 books I don't own yet that I think will be 5 stars. And we'll see how long it takes me to acquire them and figure that out. But yeah, those are the 10 books I was going to talk about today. I try to upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Didn't go well this week, but like, it's fine. If you liked this, please like and leave a comment. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you all in the next one.